Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdicus Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Nerdicus Dave,
Nathan Nerdark,
Nerdicus Ted.
And in this video, Unearthed Arcana goes wild.
If you want to jump down to the description below, you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Ted won initiative on that one.
He absolutely did. He has a surprise round on it.
Yeah, he did.
What do you guys think? We got 3 new Unearthed Arcana Druid paths, or circles in this case, and of all the classes, Druid needed it the most, in my opinion.
I would agree with that one, because there was only 2 in the player's handbook, and
Sorcerer!
the sorcerer's got 1 in the Skag and 1 in the
Unearthed Arcana.
Unearthed Arcana.
At least.
Yeah.
Druid has got nothing anywhere else.
We got 2, and it's a way cooler class than Sorcerer.
So, alright, I'm going to start off saying with the 3 circles, I love the concept of all of them. I was curious to see, well, where were they going to go with extra Druid circles? And they went in directions that I wasn't even considering. So it definitely shows that there's some room for growth within Druid. All right, so Circle of the Dreams. This is the one where you're connected to the Summer Court of the Fae. Awesome right at the start. I'm like, all right, I can definitely get behind this. Fae are nature lovers. Druid are nature lovers. It's a match made in heaven.
Fae are nature in a certain degree. Like, they're like magical nature.
Indeed. Yeah. And we start off with the second level power of Bomb of the Summer Court. And this is the one...
Oh man, bombs are dangerous. They should put those things away.
This is the one where you essentially get a pool of... D6s that are healing dice that you can spend on other people. So, hey, free healing, all great. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just says you have to just touch them to use the die. So there's nothing that says you can't do this while you're wild-shaped?
You don't have to touch them.
No, it's a bonus action.
Within 120 feet.
Oh,
The 120 feet thing is really nice.
And you can do it wild-shaped.
So, even better. And then when you actually do it, they get a bump to their speed as well.
And a temporary hit point.
And hit points.
And now, all right, so it's good for like people are injured in your party, maybe they need some mobility. But also, if things start to go really south in the encounter, you need to get the fuck out. Or maybe you need to be the fastest tortoise alive. That's another. You can get a plus 50 to your movement and be like this jet rocket packed tortoise moving at like, I don't know, 70, 60 feet through it.
Many possible uses for this bomb. And you get this at second level.
None of them exploding, though.
None of them explode. I think after this is where it starts to go south. 6th level, you have the ability to essentially make a safe campsite, which is a cool ribbon ability. If you're traveling with a bard or a wizard, you technically have the option of
doing it, but better.
Having Liam's tiny hut, which is actually better. I kind of like it, but as your only 6th level ability, I don't think it's enough. I think, Nate, you disagree with me?
Yes, I would say, well, first off, it's 30-foot radius, so it's a much larger area than Lehman's Tiny Hut.
You're saying you don't want to snuggle with your party members?
No, not in that little tight space that they give you for Lehman's Tiny Hut. Then everybody gets a +5 wisdom bonus perception check, so that's really good.
If you're in the hut, you don't need it.
Well, then... you can also, again... Oh, yeah, you're going to tell me. Okay. So... Then you also, the campfires that you have and stuff, and lights that you have and stuff, they can't see it from the outside.
Which you wouldn't need.
Yeah. But this this is not soaking up a fireball spot, which is what I'm going to say.
Hut is a ritual.
What if you don't have ritual?
Right. Then maybe.
Then maybe. If your wizard has used his spell slot,
or if you're not adventuring with a wizard,
that's true.
Yeah, or if you don't have a wizard.
So I would
handy.
these kinds of like Layman's Tiny Hut and like other things like that, and the sort of ribbon abilities like this. My advice to the dungeon master is actually occasionally put patrols that like go past, like the party can clearly hear them, but they don't happen to cross the party because because of that ability.
So
I got your back, Nate. Can the wizard ritually cast that spell while he's wild shaped? Because the druid can so do this while he's wild shaped as a dog.
That's right. Can your dog do that?
Yeah.
But
can he be a death donkey and make this happen?
Nope.
There you go.
All right, so I think it's a cool ability, but as your only 6th level ability, I think it's weak. Power and power level for the rest of this particular circle, I think just continues to step down.
Speaking of which, where do we go from here?
On hidden paths at 10th level, you have the ability to essentially teleport up to your speed or your movement.
Or you can teleport others.
Good question.
Up to 30 feet.
When anyone else read that, did they, like, before actually reading the description, just the name, you're like, oh, Dresden Files. I was like, so, like, Dresden Files.
I didn't think Dresden Files, but I was expecting a similar kind of mindset that you could shorten travel distances, not I'm just going to appear over there. Like, as I was reading the power, I'm like,
Yeah, like taking a shortcut.
This doesn't necessarily make sense. I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking campaign reducing situations.
Yeah.
It was not grand enough.
No, it's not grand, but you can do it to allies as well as yourself.
So you can use your move action to teleport, or you can use your standard action to teleport somebody else. And
Your whole action.
Yeah, your entire action to teleport somebody else. And once you've used it on either yourself or someone else, you can use it again in 1d4 rounds. So it kind of has that chaotic Fey-like aspect of when can I do it again? But it's a 10th level power, and if you're going to use it on somebody else, it takes your action.
Well, and the problem with the someone else, because I just double checked to read it, is you have to touch them. So, like, it's not like you're gaining a benefit. Oh, I'm just going to wink this guy over here, which is more advantageous. Although, still,
you have to show him the way.
I mean, if you
Shove
are
him in there.
if you are in a position where you're surrounded, being able to teleport out of that situation and not draw attacks of opportunity, super handy. I do have a problem with any of the like recharges in D4 rounds. Like maybe they'll make it a standard mechanic of the game, but as things are, you either have an ability or you don't. There's usually not some bullshit. Like even like Tides of Chaos with the sorcerer, like it's either you have a chip of having Tides of Chaos and you expand it to like roll it on the chart, or you don't, and you have to wait for your GM to tell you, right, or your DM. So the D4 is a little weird because now I have to count rounds to keep track of something. I would actually prefer this stuff if they took what they already have structured in the monsters and recharge on a 5 or 6,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
Totally
I was gonna suggest that because you were going down a road. I'm like, it's unlike any other mechanic except for recharge.
Yeah,
So-
recharge is like, but now I roll this and I do have it. I have it or I don't.
Right. So every round you would be able to roll the recharge, and if it works, it works.
I agree. That makes more sense. Even with the wild mage or wild sorcerer cast magic, when he casts, you roll the die to see if he triggers a surge or not. And you're right. It should work that way. It makes sense. Now, I would say the good thing about this ability is you have it every combat at least once.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not only 3 times for every long rest or something.
Yeah. And I do see that being mega handy in some circumstances.
So perhaps that they look at it as this was something that they wanted to have as essentially using a 4th edition term, an encounter power without using that kind of terminology.
But this could be twice per encounter. I mean, yeah. So the recharge
if the right circumstances come up, absolutely.
It could be 3 times in an encounter.
You could roll that one every single turn, and I get it back next round. Oh, I get it back next round.
Yeah. So this ability becomes a little more interesting because your frequency of use, like, because you could use it.
I just.
One really important thing, if you happen to be a race that has a lower movement rate, you actually get more movement. You get another 5 feet.
Indeed.
I mean, because technically it says you get 30 feet minus it from your movement. Well, you can't really get negative movement, so you can get the full amount.
You lose it for next round.
Yeah, you owe. The
owe.
DM's keeping a counter. After the encounter's over, you have to wait like 3 rounds before you can even move.
You did it a bunch, your legs are broken. Your legs are just broken. Sorry, buddy.
So I think there's some interesting uses. There's some definite possibilities with new mechanics entering into player character options. I just think as a 10th level power is weak.
I don't know. Sometimes you got to be like Barbarian. You need to get over there now, and an extra 30 feet of movement it's going to do.
Or I need to be 30 feet behind you because I'm in the middle of this, of what's going on right now.
Hey, or you fall into a pit trap and you want to get out.
So I will just say, like you said, it's not as good as it could be, but you know what? It's definitely not the Barbarian ability where you intimidate someone as your action.
Yeah, I'll buy that one, no problem. All right, Purifying Light, 14th level power. Here is where when you cast a healing spell, something that its sole benefit restores hit points, you can, while expending a spell slot, dispel magic as well. And you can do it to any number of people that are recipients of the spell with using the spell slot.
But you're burning
per
slots.
single.
You're burning
so
slots.
Nate and I were talking about this off camera, and he thought, "Wow, this is a really good ability."
Yeah,
Until
I
he
thought it was.
realized that each expenditure of the spell magic uses the spell slot.
Now, there's an easy fix. You look at the Paladin, their ability to, like, maybe every application of this could remove one condition or whatever, disadvantage thing. I would model this off of the Paladin. Like, so whenever you cast either healing magic or use your dice, let it do that. Like, it still expends that resources because you're limited by, like, say 10 with your 10 healing dice, 10 d6, or anytime you cast any of your healing spells, you can get rid of one condition on someone.
Right.
So, like, it's like the Paladins lay on hands. They can spend 5 points of their lay on hands ability. Well, getting access to this at 14th level, it's like you're getting it later because it's not a core feature of your class, but it still gives you a nice, interesting access to a new suite of abilities.
It's already rough, and they also give it to you a max of 3 times
Yeah.
per long rest.
But here's the thing: like, if you just want to use it on one person, right? Say the barbarian is damaged and charmed, right? But he's not damaged that much. You can cast a cure spell as a first level spell, and then as another first level spell, you dispel magic on them.
You have to use the dispel magic.
Equal slot. Equal or greater.
Okay.
Yeah, equal or greater. Using a spell with a slot level equal to the slot used to cast the healing spell.
Okay.
It is still a double expenditure. Which
So,
is,
all right.
but,
So, so if you want to uncharm your barbarian friend, you
No,
could.
it's not a double. Like, you're getting double actions. Actually, it's a.
Well, you would
getting,
be able. I mean, it's economical because the spell magic would be a 3rd level spell, and you're getting it for a 1st level spell slot if you're using a 1st level cure light wounds
or second
cure
level.
wounds.
Or third level. But it doesn't matter because you're getting to essentially cast 2 spells at once.
Right.
Who does that? Sorcerer has to twin.
Yeah. Well, so
There is some use.
But what if it's like a 5th or 6th level spell you're trying to dispel?
Choose one creature, object, or magic item. Any spell of 3rd level lower the target ends. For each spell of 4th level higher than the target, make an ability check using spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. On a successful check, the spell ends. When you use this on a higher level spell, you automatically end the spell if the target is spell level equal or less than the level of spell slot you used.
Okay. So you could use a 1st level one each time and then
make a die roll.
just make the die roll.
Right.
Like, hey, we'll see.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're still getting to cast 2 spells in one round. It's very specific, and it only is going to come up if some magic is affecting one of your party members.
I think this would fit more in the domain of protection than in the Circle of Dreams, but
Well, it has to do with unloosing enchantments and
Fae.
unbinding.
okay.
So
All right, yeah.
that part makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it kind of works thematically, but again, like, I don't think it's a bad ability. It is kind of, and it's interesting, but it's going to be such limited use for a 14th level ability.
Yeah,
All right, so there's Circle of Dreams. Well, next we get to move on to the Circle of the Shepherd, and here is the design that you are the protector of beasts.
you don't get a beast, but you're protector of them.
You don't get a beast.
Yeah, Nate was flipping through, and he's like, all right, this is the one we must get an animal companion.
I skimmed the entirety of it. I'm like,
Where's
you almost
the
tricked me.
So technically, if you actually have a good DM, you can get one because you have the ability to talk to them.
Well, there's that.
You could just be like, hey, do you want to follow me around? You want to be my friend?
I'll give you food and scratches behind the ear.
So there's ways for you to do it without it actually being built into your class. So I actually kind of like this one. You're not going to get one that's going to get better unless the DM is, again, being very generous.
You're gonna get one that's probably gonna die.
So
You keep upgrading them.
Yeah.
So we go on to second level, you get Spirit Bond. And here is where you create an immobile spirit guardian, essentially, that grants powers based on what you choose. And we have things that we've seen before. Bear, hawk, and wolf. I wonder where we've seen them. Barbarian.
Yes.
Now,
No, barbarian gets eagle, not hawk.
It
so
is-
different.
Is the spirit bond, is that immobile when you summon?
absolutely is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm not so cool about.
Keen
but-
on, yeah.
I'm not keen
Immobile.
on that.
Yeah, that's a ball.
So the bear gives you temporary hit points, advantage on strength checks, and strength saving throws while you're in the area. The area is a 30-foot radius centered on this immobile thing that you know it's there, and your companions can kind of feel it because they're bolstered while they're around it. but it doesn't actually take up a space. People can go through it, stand in it. It's not affected by anything that's out there.
It's almost like planting a standard in the ground, but instead it's a spirit animal.
Right. So the hawk is really cool. It gives you advantage on ranged attack rolls for things that are in it. So if you're shooting and your target is within that 30-foot radius of the thing, you're going to get advantage on attack rolls.
What it means is your ranged rogues get to sneak attack every round regardless of what's happening. So.
And then we go to wolf, and this is the one that, to my opinion, made no sense whatsoever. Each one, they go into a description of what the thing is, and it says the wolf spirit lends you and your allies its precise senses, while your magic works to benefit the members of your pack. You and your allies gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirit's aura. In addition, if you cast a spell with a spell slot restores hit points to anyone inside or outside the aura, each of your allies in the area also regains hit points equal to your druid level. I can understand it helps you detect. To me, if you're giving the spirit of the wolf, it should be something about pack tactics. 2 people working together or multiple people
combat
together.
That's what Ted wants.
Yeah.
He wants brutal combat.
What they're saying is you all belong to the same pack, so you can share the healing.
My only problem
Equal to your
is
druid level.
the wolf and the bear seem like very samey with like minor tweaks. Like my problem is like the bear is like, oh, you get something with hit points, and the wolf you also get something with hit points.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that just
you
seems a
get
little weird.
advantage on strength checks. That they both do hit points is kind of...
So, and one's temporary hit points, the other one, it shares the healing. All right, I guess I'll kind of see
Wolf's
it, but
actually better than the bear, really.
Yeah, especially
depends upon how much you're healing.
fighting invisible foes or whatever. Yeah.
So, all right, so it's a little bit better than I initially thought. Also, at second level, you get beast speech, which allows you to communicate with beasts. I think it's fantastic. It doesn't make them friends with you.
You're not going to become Facebook friends. You're not going to hang out.
It's got notes on there saying that, okay, as a DM, please remember that animals only have so much ability to communicate. While you can talk to them, they're not going to be able to follow complex plans. Their intelligence is only so high.
So basically, if the druid's making complex plans, you should have the animal fuck them up. what that tells me is the dungeon master. Yeah.
You thought this was a benefit? Foolish mortal.
Sucker.
So 6th level, we move over to...
It gets distracted by food every single time. Yeah.
Yeah, so 6th is Mighty Summoner. And basically when you summon animals, you're going to have extra hit points for every level. Well, every hit dice.
They get
right?
2 extra hit points per hit die that the thing has. That's going to help bolster them a little bit.
And their natural weapons count as magical.
Yeah, so when you're bringing them along, you've got the ability to actually harm those monsters that actually require
Demons
stuff.
or whatever,
Right.
whatnot.
The 10th level, you get your Guardian Spirit, which essentially, you get a death ward every day. Not bad.
It's actually really awesome.
That's a biggie.
It's as per death ward in the player's handbook, which means anytime you would be brought below 0 hit points, you can choose. Now, you know what? I'm going to be at 1 instead, and the spell ends when it goes off, and then there's no more death ward. But in the handbook, the duration is 8 hours. Your death ward 24. Fantastic. It also can negate anything that's going to outright kill you. So things like disintegrate. Oh, you failed your saving throw. Never mind. You have a death ward.
Yeah, I mean, basically, once per day you can die but get better, is what happens. And then, if you stack that with a half orc, that means twice per day you can kind of more or less die but get better. Yeah.
And the half orc going with the circle of the shepherd, I think it's a good mix. I don't know how you guys feel.
Well, thematically, it definitely works as well.
Very, very tribal feeling. And then we move on to the Faithful Summons, which this one, it's your 14th level ability. You have the ability to, conjure animals. You can cast it without using a spell slot.
As a 9th level.
As a 9th level spell, when you would get dropped to 0 hit points, or be incapacitated against your will. And it specifically says against your will. When would you be incapacitated?
Willingly?
Willingly.
I've been in some situations.
Well, it's a good night out for some people.
Yeah, there's some special lady that's willing to tie you up, and these bears are ruining this. They're ruining the
Well, what
moment.
if you're into the bears? You're already going crazy.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's going to allow you to get 4 animal companions summoned that are challenge 2 or less that are going to be beasts.
When you really need them.
Polar bears. Basically, you get to call polar bears.
You can call 4 polar bears, and it gives them automatic directions. It says that if they receive no commands from you, they protect you from harm and attack your foes, and the spell lasts an hour. So it's pretty nice. So if somebody ties you up, I'm incapacitated. Look at that. Poof! They show up. Now one of them can help.
But it doesn't count if you ask her to tie you up.
Yeah, that is true. So, but also too, because your Mighty Summoner feature, they are now they're souped up versions of it too, of whatever you choose.
So
to
yeah,
summon.
they'd get an
Now,
extra 0
granted,
points per hit die.
CR2 or lower, I see bags of hit points personally. They're not going to hit anything more than likely because they probably need to roll, like a 17 or better,
Well, if-
15 or better,
Some animals get some pretty good pluses to hit. but-
you-
plus 5, 6 tops.
You could have something where
Flying snakes.
this one aids that one, and this one aids that one, so 2 of them roll with advantage.
Yeah, I would actually look at say animals that have pack tactics because then they have advantage to the roll. So their numerical plus to hit might not be great, but rolling with advantage, it is very swingy, but there's always that chance that they roll a 16 plus.
Well, also there's the chance that they could crit, and that's gonna
Dire wolves, nothing but dire wolves.
Yeah, it's
So,
a smart play.
part of me wants to say, why does it have the limitation? So, what if you did want 8 challenge rating 1s and go with wolves that would have the pack tactics?
Or 16 flying snakes.
A swarm. Blot out the sky with flying snakes.
They do auto poison damage, by the way.
They
No,
hit-
no saves, auto poison
Yeah,
damage.
they hit hard.
Yeah, they're nasty things.
They do 3 die,
Just-
12 or 3 die 4 plus a point of damage.
Just imagine the big bad whaps you and you're fall over and then a bunch of snakes fly out of the room.
Yeah, that's just nasty.
I'd let that happen.
So, I think this one, they should remove the restriction and allow you to say, okay, you cast Conjure Animals as a 9th level spell.
Get what you want.
Get what you want. Yeah.
Have it your way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Swarm of flying snakes.
And that's what you want. So, Circle of Twilight, when you guys want to...
Team Edward. Team Edward.
I think we just lost some...
So
Twilight there.
Harvest Scythe is really a great power. It's very similar. It kind of mirrors the Summer Blessing or whatever, the Bomb of Summer.
Yes.
But
But this one really does have a bomb. That
yeah,
goes off.
it's D10.
Necro bomb.
Yeah.
So instead of rolling d6s to heal your opponent, your adversary, your allies, there's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you're doing D10, and if things die, you get hit points.
It's d10 necrotic damage on your damaging spell.
Yeah.
So it's I'm going to cast Thorn Whip because I can damage you with this cantrip, and then I'm going to stack some necrotic on
Then I'm
top
going to
of
do
it.
20 die 10.
Yeah,
Well,
Harvest
it's how you-
Scything or Harvest Scythe, just a sweet named.
Yes.
Yeah, the names are pretty good on this.
And if it's undead, it's even more hit points. It's 5 instead of 2 that you're getting per die.
Per die of healing.
You might only do 10, but you're going to get 50 hit points.
I like the concept of getting these pool of dice that supplement your spellcasting in both of them. I think it's kind of cool.
And with the Harvest Scythe, it's nice because if you're going to be doing the kind of strategy on what you're actually killing and what you're actually harming with it, you can slam out. As long as you get one undead in the mix of it, then you're good to go for the 5 hit points a die.
And thematically, it makes sense that you're targeting it because this thing views undead as an abomination. So obviously, this is the first thing we're going to attack.
Yeah, it's nothing like saying, man, undead are abomination. I need to use their power against them.
Yeah, well, it gives a nice thematic rules reason for targeting undead over other things.
Oh yeah, I got no
you're getting
problem.
rewarded for it.
I got no problem with them targeting. I just have a problem with why are they using necrotic damage?
Well, because what
okay.
you do is you add it to your flame strike, and you drop another 10 die 6 or 10
die 10?
10 die 10 necrotic on top of your flame strike.
You know what the problem with that is, though? Aren't a lot of undead immune
Resistant.
or resistant? So it
It's
kind
usually
of
resistance.
yeah, usually. So it becomes a little bit of a problem. Oh man, they're really hard to kill.
I imagine the zombies and skeletons aren't resistant in any way. When you're going up against the liches and the vampires, I think that's what
Man,
you're
if
doing.
only this were radiant damage.
I might have all right, can we turn it? I mean, I know there's a lot of things that are immune to poison as well, but poison seems the more naturey angle
I
of
think
things.
if you're something that destroys undead or targets undead, radiant damage makes the most sense because it's the antithesis.
I think I agree with that. I think that would be too powerful for this one because a lot of undead are vulnerable to radiant.
You kill undead. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Just
It's
saying.
like the thing of the raccoons eating trash and like talking about you should taste this is awful. You know, like you're an undead slayer. This is what you do.
Yeah, but you won't be nearly as effective against angels.
That's true. But like for this destroying angels, like you should.
And everything needs to die.
I hate undead. You know what? This is the perfect path for the one that kills angels.
Yeah. And at 6, you get a speech beyond the grave, which is like Speak with Dead, but better.
Because you can talk to dead cats. Schrodinger's cat, you can totally interrogate it. Were you in the box or outside of the box? Answer me.
So when
Burning
you cast this spell on a corpse, it doesn't matter. There is no language barrier.
Yeah.
It understands you. You understand it. End of story.
And how Ryan was saying earlier with Schrodinger's cat, even if it's not smart enough to speak with you, it doesn't matter.
That cat that you can't talk to, wait
can
for it to die, then you can.
Yeah. Cat, you've seen everything. Who killed the king?
Or
All right.
Oh, man,
Sorry I have to do
this
this.
is for the greater good.
you can wait for it to die, or just harvest Sith.
Scythe, yep. And regain hit points for doing so. No, this is a win-win-win.
So then,
that's awful.
10th level, we have Watcher at the Threshold. You gain resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. In addition, while you aren't incapacitated, any ally within 30 feet of you has advantage on death saves. I was like, ooh, that's pretty sweet.
As I was reading it and it said any ally, I was like, oh, wait, is this going to be some kind of awesome paladin aura? And I was like, advantage on death save's all right.
Yeah, it's not you're sharing your resistances, but
Yeah, that would've
hey,
been really awesome.
You're trying to keep them over here.
You know,
But-
you still advantage on death save. Okay, so it's not super awesome, but it's good.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's on top of resistance.
Yes,
to necrotic
yes. It's
and radiant.
it's a good power. I was just hoping for more. That's all.
I read
Because
it.
I'm playing this Druid. So.
I read it and I was like, this is awesome. Like
Yeah.
I was happy with it right away. Advantage on death saves for your entire team. That's pretty
that
cool.
would have been too much.
Each death save, you've got a 55% chance of being successful. This just seriously upped the odds.
It's the only thing that does that, isn't it? Right?
I believe so.
Sorry, I was thinking old school D&D. I was thinking about death saving throws, not you're talking about when they get knocked down to 0. These
Yes.
are the oh wow, yeah, that's really good.
This is live or die. Live
Yeah,
or die.
live or die advantage. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the results of not having a death or a Twilight Druid at the table. So
Yes.
yeah,
Only one character's died.
through the rolls. Yeah, we've had many characters be close though.
Yeah. Well, in the one game we had 2 characters die, but
Well, that just was a sheer amount of damage.
yeah, this was not going to help. That death ward ability would have been nifty though.
Yeah, no, I still think the amount of damage would have still killed those characters. Though.
The 14th level, you get Path to the Dead.
Which is an awesome name.
Mastery of Death allows you to tread the paths used by ghosts and other spirits. So when you gain the feature, you can cast Etherealness. And then once it ends, you can't cast it until you have a short or long rest. But short or long rest, rather than just long rest, pretty impressive.
It's an extra casting a day, so not
Well,
bad at all.
Etherealness is not cheap.
Very happy with all of the 3 circles they gave us, but wait, there's more.
There's
all right,
optional
all right.
It should have stopped there, but
right.
it doesn't.
I'm happy with 2 out of the 3. I can't say very happy with all 3.
I'm happy with all 3. I think
I
there's
like
more choices. We have 5 Druid choices, and the one, maybe it's not as good as the other ones, but you're compared to Circle of the Land. Circle of the Land's not that great. How many people have played a Circle of Land Druid in any of our games?
2.
In the comment section, tell us if you've ever played a Circle of the Land over Circle of the Moon.
The optional rules for Wild Shape, you guys were talking off camera about like what is really the options here. And I summed it up with, well, this is if you're burdened with choice.
You sound very nonplussed about this.
So the way it works is instead of just being able to say I can wild shape into anything, there's specific rules on what to actually do, and it gives you tables based off of what region you might be from, and you can make a selection of those, and as you gain levels, you have the ability to acquire more. And then there's specific rules on if you want to add extra things into your list, here's how you actually do it. And it requires interaction or observation with beast.
You know
Plus
what
a
this is
level.
for? This is for if your dungeon master is kind of a dick about like, oh, have you seen that thing? I don't know. Like, it makes you make a roll of like a 15 plus or something and say you've seen it. Spelling it out when your DM is so adversarial that you actually need a clear cut rule.
Yeah.
to do that in the
Or
first place.
it's if your DM just thinks wild shape is too good and you have too many choices and options and wants to take the ball away.
Well,
from you.
if your group decides kind of thinks that wild shape is broken, this is a way to rein it in because you do get a ridiculous amount of options with wild shape. But I'm okay with it because I just think it's cool.
Landshark.
Is that where you jump off the top of a roof, turn into a shark, and try to land on someone?
I think so. He's stuck though landing, or at least that halfling anyway.
No, that's when you turn into a marlin and skewer them with your nose.
Or Norwal?
Yeah.
Fastball special with the barbarian.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's been fished.
You play the halfling druid at wild shapes
There you go.
while you're being thrown.
Can you wild shape as a reaction? Is the circle the moon? What is the circle?
bonus action.
You can ready your action, though.
Yeah. You could ready that bonus action.
Absolutely. Once the half-orc barbarian tosses me a wild shape into a marlin,
Yeah. There we go.
I'd allow that. Why not?
That is just ridiculous. What is the damage on the marlin? In the comments below, put down what you think the damage on a projectile thrown marlin would be.
And does the barbarian get a strength bonus?
Yes, absolutely. Wait, and the range increment. What's the range increment as well? I'm thinking about 20 feet.
He gets the
10.
he gets
10
strength
foot for a
bonus
strength bonus.
for damage, right? Because it's a thrown weapon. But he would roll with advantage. And I would make it like a modified advantage, like maybe the halfling rolls one and the barbarian rolls one and use the better of the two.
For the attack?
Yeah, the attack, yeah.
I don't think the attack does necessarily. It's not even a projectile, it's a disadvantage because it's a non-actual projectile.
What if you train? If you train to throw halfway?
If you have improvised weapon, I would then let that be thrown in a
Tavern
normal.
brawler? Do you have to do tavern brawler?
I
tavern
totally
brawler.
disagree because as the marlin, you can flop around and change directions.
You have that tail.
And
And
you've got-
if
and you got
Colossus
the
and
sail.
Wolverine has taught us anything, this is a highly effective tactic.
I think we need to make this be a thing.
Yeah.
You guys, let us know down in the comments below if you like this ridiculous idea of the Marlin Rot or how you feel about this Unearthed Arcana. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
Check out articles over at nerdarchy.com.
While there, don't forget to check out the Sweet Store.
You can also patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.